Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Brad. This is Structured to Grow, and I'm joined by my co-host Ryan. What's up, buddy? And
Not much.
today we have a special guest, one of our very favorite people from the exterior cleaning industry, Trudi. Trudi, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brad and Ryan.
Yeah.
Trudi is, I don't know the best way to say this, but she is like, and please take this all as a compliment because I mean it as a compliment, but you are not just a mentor, but almost a mother figure to contractors in the pressure washing space. The way that Trudi cares for people, guides them, helps them. I mean, the things I've heard that she does for her customers and people in her network, it really is, there's nobody that kind of represents the industry like you do. I mean, you've kind of really taken a torch to be an example. I mean, she comes from a actual contracting background, and I know you still do that.
Yeah.
And so she's taken all that experience, and I don't know exactly how much, you have to tell us in a second here, but decades of experience, and brings it into how she serves this community. So you are one of the shining stars of this whole industry. And I mean that in the most sincere way, not just because we're recording this right now.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I see pretty regularly posts on social media. It's like, hey, I needed such and such part. I ordered from Panhandle, ordered it Friday, showed up on my door Saturday morning. Plus it had a dog treat for my dog and a pack of mints. Like, I see these all the time of like, hey, it would like, I can't believe how fast what I needed got to my house. And like, they went out of their way. Like, or I talked to Trudi on the phone and she's like, hey, I'm going to get it in the mailbox in an hour. Like, all the time I hear stories of that. And so, yeah, I think 100% agree with Brad that your reputation, I think, as a contractor, but as a vendor is huge, and people love it, and people love doing business with you. So,
how long have you been in the industry, Trudi? I don't know that we've ever had this conversation.
No, we were washing about 16 years before I opened Panhandle. And, you know, my mind kept saying I can wash 6 days a week. I can just keep going 6 days a week, 8-10 hours a day. My mind was telling me I could do it. My body, on the other hand, saying, no, you're limping. You can't, your fingers won't open in the morning because you got trigger finger. Your wrist is in a brace. It's like, you need to slow down. So I wasn't giving up without a fight. So I talked to Shane. I said, you know, I can't do this 6 days a week. I'm 53 years old. So, you know, I've been working my whole life since I was 16, busting my butt. And I told Shane, I said, I can't give up the industry. So I need to do something where I can stay in the industry, help contractors, just keep it going. And there's a need for something. So we opened Panhandle, and it gave me whiplash how fast it grew. It was just me. And I was picking this stuff, and I didn't even have a computer over at the warehouse. I was putting everything on, packaging it at the warehouse, writing their name, weights or measurements, putting on the golf cart, going home, printing out the shipping label, putting it back on there, loading it in the truck, and driving it to the UPS store. I did that every single day for about a year, or less than a year, because it just went, whew, and I'm like, I can't do this. This is just too much. We got to be more efficient. And then I started doing the free training classes, and it went out. But I have actually labeled myself as a people-pleasing workaholic. I mean, that just narrows it down, because I always want to take care of people. I've always been that way. I mean, you could ask my family. I'm known as the spoiler of the family. I say I have a rare spoiling disease, and they're like, okay, they don't have to buy me that. I've got this disease. You know, I've got this rare spoiling disease. It just happens. So my sister mentioned something like, oh, man, I really need this. 2 days later, Amazon's delivered it. So they know where it comes from. They don't even have to ask anymore. But it's just, you know, being a contractor, I just need, I mean, I know how bad you need this product. You're not going to order a swivel or a surface cleaner bar, you know, for somebody's birthday. You're ordering it because you need it to work. So
Right.
that's why I mean, even sitting here, I just got an alert saying there's an order that needs to go out, and I'm shaking, going, I got to get it out. So I got guys over there, but you know, that's what I feel like. I'm just so nervous that I'm going to miss something. And it's just, you know, the customer service that I would expect, you know, when I spend the money and I need something to work, because it's not just it's not a pack of socks or something. It's something for your livelihood. It's something you need to feed your family and pay your bills. So that's why it's important to me to make sure that shipping gets out as soon as it can.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you find it hard to have anyone come work for you that can even come close to keeping up. I mean, that's got to be a challenge.
Yeah. No, I'm just like, "Oh, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet?" Like, no, like, over here, I'll do it. And Shane's like, you got to leave the shipping. You're the owner. You should be shipping. You should be doing your social media. I'm like, I'm doing that too. I can do it all. He's like, no, you can't do
Mm-hmm.
it all. You're gonna have to give something up. But so far, I'm juggling just fine. But it's kind of difficult now with the event 2 weeks away. So I'm just kind of delegating a little bit. But
Yeah, we were talking about it a minute before we started recording, but another thing that I think just like echoes this like sentiment you have towards customers is the fact that you provide like a meal at this training event that's coming up.
Mhm.
I'll let you talk more about that in a minute about the actual event, but I've been at the last few of them. I think the last two or three,
Mhm.
and the last one, somebody told me it's like, hey, Trudy's bringing in lunch for everybody, and so I'm thinking like, okay, like some of the events I've been to, I know what this is. Like, we're gonna get a Subway tray of like
Yeah.
mixed sandwiches or something, and like a bag of chips, and like nothing wrong with that. But then, like, I think it was Ron was telling me, it's like, oh no, she's got the barbecue out. She's like making smoked pork and hand making a meal for 300
Mhm.
something people,
Yep.
and like it blew me away. I'm like, who else gets that kind of service? Not only are you putting on the event and you're doing training classes and you're like taking time on top of still having your contracting business that you're just saying that Shane Shane is telling you've got to come and help him with some jobs coming up
Yeah, my big
and
job is coming up
mm-hmm.
October 30th, and it takes 3 people a month to do all these sidewalks. And I've done this job for the last 15 years, so I'm always in there doing it. I love doing it, and I love getting back out on the contractor side because things change, and I don't want to be talking to customers and telling them something I know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not answer it if I don't know it. I'll be honest. It's like I am very limited on the soft wash system. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
Chemicals, I can handle. Pressure washing, I can handle. Soft wash, I don't. I'm not going to pretend to answer your question so you can ruin your equipment or whatever. So, I want to get it back out there, and I want to stay on the contractor side just so I can keep learning and keeping up on all the newest stuff. So I have the correct answers, but yeah, I'm going to be out there washing sidewalks October 30th. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this week to really get my act together and get everything ready for the event.
Yeah. And now has that always
Unreal.
been?
Just like
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
So, to set a little bit of context, I think a lot of the people that hear this are familiar with what you do, but you put on an annual event, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not just an event, but it's an event that you put on that is 100% free
Mm-hmm.
for the attendees.
Yes.
And I've been to some free things at different points in time, and I think when we think of something that's free, we think, oh, it's just like a giant sales pitch. Somebody is
Mm-hmm.
drawing me in. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like I remember when I was engaged before my first marriage, and we went to one of those hotel events where like you can get a free vacation, but then they
Mm-hmm.
spend an hour pitching you or 2 hours pitching
Yeah.
you cookingware.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think of when you think of free events. But this is not that kind of event at all. This
Yeah.
is something that is a very unique training event where there is hands-on training that will teach you how to do your craft. That will not just what you do on a day-to-day basis, but in depth. Being able to add ancillary services, which is crucial in
Mm-hmm.
staying busy year round,
Yes.
to be able to do more than just one thing and kind of deepen your skill level. How did you ever get into doing free events? Because you're kind of like, I see it as you're like the leader, and there's a couple other people that are doing things that are second best. But how did you get into doing free events, and what is kind of your mission behind that?
Well, when we started washing, we started out like everybody else, 4 gallon at Home Depot on the weekends, and then I did it internal cleaning on the weekend. So for those 16 years I was washing, I was doing internal cleaning and exterior cleaning, and so finally I lost my job and Shane lost his job with the economy in '07. So we had to do it full time or we had to figure out something else. So in '07, that's when we decided to go full time. And I think it was '08, we drove down to Tampa for a free training event. And we read it on the forums because back then we didn't have all these Facebook groups. We didn't have all this Instagram, and we had nothing. We just had the forums where you had to read everything. There was no pictures, nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we drove down there to Tampa and we attended a free training event and learned so much from networking with the other contractors who people think, well, how they're not going to tell you their business, but they do, because if say 100 people, 100 contractors are not educated and they keep messing things up. They keep changing paint on house. They keep, leaving chemicals on the roof or the windows and etching stuff, messing people's houses up. And that looks bad for all of us. Looks bad for the entire industry. So when all these contractors are talking with each other and explaining things that's happened to them, because you're not going to get every situation. Like I could pressure wash for the next 20 years and not have the same situation that Ryan may have, because there's so many different variables. But in order to discuss and talk with these other contractors, it was just eye opening. It was amazing to know what they had learned and what they had experienced. And we kept going through these free events for years until we just got too busy. It was Shane and I just full-time washing. It was nobody else, just us. He had his truck with a skid. I had mine. We just go and wash. And then when we slowed down and I opened Panhandle, then we started going back into them. And I'm like, I want to give back. I want to give back to this industry and help these newer contractors and even ones that have been in business for a year that hasn't been able to attend free events. And being in my location, pretty much all the South can drive to me. I drive to Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia, and I drive to all those all the time. They're close. It's just 3 to 4 hours away. Some are closer, so it's doable for a lot of contractors. And the South is where all the mildew is. It is filthy down here just because of the humidity and the heat. So that's why I started doing the free event, just to give back and help other contractors and mentor those that don't have anybody, that are in a little area or a little small town where those two contractors are just at each other. They're bidding. They're not working together. And I just wanted to be there for them, to help them. And at first when I started coming out and getting in the groups and mentoring, and I did get a lot of grief for being a female, because obviously I can't be in the industry and be out washing. But I'm like, no, I'm out there. And I came across it a few times out in the field where guys like, oh, you getting help? Can you handle this? I'm worried about the cleanliness of this job. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? So, they'd call Shane and Shane would come back and say, she cleans better than I do. She's more detailed. Like she'll look behind stuff. I'm just washing and going, So, I ran into that, and a few times still I'll get a guy that bashes me in one of the groups, and I'll just sit back because I've got enough people that follow me and respect me and know me that they'll like, hey, you don't know who you're talking about. Get your facts before you come at her, because she probably knows more than you do. It's for the contractors. Bottom line, that's why I started doing this, for the contractors' education, and so I can feed them. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't want to miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
I can attest, from being at your event, that it really is something special. In fact, after we attended the first time, we were inspired to actually do an event in North Carolina because I saw the power in it. I think there's something that's like really cool, and this happens sometimes, but sometimes it's overlooked. And that is this idea that there's a real symbiosis between the supply in power washing and the contractor. And to be successful, both have to figure out how to do that together, right? And so I think it's really cool when when you're providing the education to help the contractors be more successful, because if they're successful and they stay in business and things go well for them, it also, it helps your business as well. And
Mhm.
it kind of becomes this really beautiful
Yeah.
relationship where, each other's success helps everything move forward. And just like you said, you know, in any industry that's unregulated, the downside to that is people do things that kind of create a bad name for others. And
Mhm.
these training events are such an important thing. People
Yeah.
getting training is so important to elevate the skill level and the reputation, because if one person comes on somebody's house and messes something up, they assume 80 other percent of
Yeah.
people are going to do the same thing. They just kind of say, well, oh, there's people that do that stuff,
Yeah.
versus maybe it's just one person that does that. So you've got an event coming up, and here in 2 weeks,
2 weeks today.
is it 2 weeks from today?
Hmm.
2 weeks from
Yeah.
today. Now, I know some people that hear this will have been before, and so they're thinking about coming back. But I imagine a lot of people that hear this haven't been to one of your events before. So walk them through, like, what can they expect over those 2 days if they decide to come and make that, because it's still a time investment and a
Right.
travel investment, and
Yes.
they come out. What can they expect? Kind of walk us through what that's going to be like.
Okay, so Thursday morning, I'm going to be doing my class first at 8 a.m. That gives the other trainers a chance to do their last minute setups, but I'll be doing my industry paint issues class first, which is very important. It is vital to any contractor. If you think it's contractor error, or it's the pigment error, whatever error, whatever you're thinking is the issue, don't miss this class, because this is going to give you the information. I've been investigating this issue for 12 years. I've been testing chemicals, testing paints, researching and getting information, not to get money, not to sue anybody. I'm getting this information for the contractors to protect themselves. If there's a lawsuit that comes out of this eventually, that would be amazing. But, as contractors, you need to protect your customers' homes and their largest investment. So that's why I teach this class. That's why I've spent thousands of dollars on chemicals and paints and traveling to teach this class, just because I want to help contractors. And I started doing it because in 1 month, my company changed 2 houses, and it would have cost us $77,000 to repaint these 2 houses. That would put a lot of people out of business. You'll lose your insurance if you have any. So anyway, that's going to be the first, and then after that, we're going to do the Leon Johns reveal of his new pump, and that'll be about 9 o'clock. We'll do that for about an hour, and then starting at 10, we're going to start the circuit training. So we'll have 6 different areas. Leon's going to be doing soft wash. We've got a coil cleaning for AC units. We've got Greg Tatum with his seal wet wood paver sealing. We've got Green Ox with their chemical. We've got Rodney Riddle that's going to be going over chemicals, the correct way to use them, what not to mix, how not to use them. Stephen Golightly is going to be teaching striping, so that's an extra thing you can add on. And then Darren White is going to be doing commercial concrete cleaning. I'm still working on a window washer. Fingers crossed we get one of those in. And then, so that's going to be Thursday, is going to be all the training. And then on Friday, we're going to do wood restoration. Greg Tatum, stain and seal experts couldn't join us, so Greg Tatum's going to be using his wood, and just to show people how to clean and restore wood. And that's just going to be just a big class. We're not going to be a lot of circuit training on that. So if you're interested in wood restoration, you can do that one. And then we'll probably have some. I think Bradley, you're going to come speak, correct? And then I'm working on getting an accountant and an insurance agent to come in and talk about, just general liability and what sort of insurance you need, and accounting questions. So I'm just finishing up those, but there's going to be some keynote speakers on Friday in the morning, and then we're going to do lunch, and everybody gets to eat. I'm working on maybe getting somebody come out there and sing, a local artist come out and play the guitar and sing for us, and do a lot of networking, have a couple beers, and then just the into Friday is just going to be a lot of networking, asking the instructors questions, and then we'll do the expert panel and we'll be done for the day.
That's a jam-packed event.
Yeah.
And well, then it's at the same venue,
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So on top of that, you've got like the best venue probably in the country you could possibly go to. Like,
Yeah.
beautiful resort,
It is.
some great restaurants, and then that was always my favorite part of attending was afterwards. Usually, there's about 100 or so people who gather somewhere on the resort and have dinner together and drinks and
Yep.
and talk and I think that's a good opportunity for contractors to come and talk to vendors one-on-one when you're not like in a trade show booth or like
Yeah.
it's a lot less formal, and so I think it gives people an opportunity to ask some of the questions maybe they wanted to ask but didn't have an opportunity, and learn and connect with other people. And yeah, it's a great event. Like I said, I've been 2 or 3 times. I am very bummed I'm not teaching at this one.
It's not too late. We have 2 weeks.
I know. Well, it is for me. I won't be able to be there. I've got some other stuff going on, but no, it's a great event. I love this one. And yeah, so I think what I wanted to ask also is, because I know how like important education is to you. I mean, is that something that has always been like part of your business, or do you feel like, hey, I noticed some things were lacking in the industry, and so you want to step up, or is that just like out of a natural, hey, I just love teaching, so let me find something to teach about? Like, how did that education side come into your guys' business?
I've always liked, okay, so when we hired new contractors for the pressure washing side, Shane has no patience at all. And he says, I'm not a doctor, I don't need patience. So I'm like, okay. So I would train them. I would train these new hires, and I'd go over everything. And I just have the patience and, the experience to share without coming across egotistical. Like, I don't know it all. I will never say I know it all. But I love helping. I love, educating and helping better other contractors. The reason I got into the events was because of the industry paint issues. I started digging into this and asking questions, and Ron actually heard about it and told me. He said, "You need to teach." I'm like, "No, I failed public speaking in college. I'm not going to do that. No, not doing it." So he talked me into doing an event up in Georgia. It was Young Guns, and I kind of semi-hosted that when I was the only vendor, but he put it together, and I taught my class, and I felt this little lion just come out of me because I was so passionate about this issue. This issue can destroy contractors' lives. I know a guy that lost his house, everything. He changed 7 houses in one subdivision. He went bankrupt and lost everything. And, his wife, he lost his family because he couldn't support him. It was so heart-wrenching. So that's what got me into the training, but just for that issue. And then I'm thinking, we could do better than this. We could do so much better than this. Let's get other contracts to help newer contractors learn how to do it correctly. Because if you can ruin a house by washing it because the paint changes, a guy's over there with a turbo nozzle on stucco, or a surface cleaner on a roof. You see all this all the time, and there are roof cleaners that look like surface cleaners, but they're not surface cleaners. And that is a liability. I mean, I wouldn't want to be armed with that thing on there because I'd fall off. You're backing up and you go off the ridge cap and you're on the floor. So, there was other ways of contractors causing damage to homeowners. And that's why I felt the need for education had to be there. It needed to be there. Asking questions on Facebook, you get 20 of them, and then somebody's reaches, do use a search bar or do this, and they don't answer it correctly. And there's so many wrong answers that is just makes my stomach turn, because I don't want anybody having to, apologize to a homeowner and have to, re-stucco or repaint or anything. So that's how the education came about, just by wanting others to succeed. I keep repeating that, but that's what I want. That's what I want. Yeah. I want the industry to succeed.
Well, anybody that's been around what you do knows that is a very genuine statement. Ryan and I can both vouch for that.
Yeah. Well, do you have a Here's my question for you. Do you have what would be your word of advice for, like, if you could pass on one thing to, I think, a new contractor and maybe a contractor who's been in business for a long time, like the veteran contractor, what would be the thing that you would tell those two groups of people?
The newer contractor, which I tell all the time, when they're looking for equipment, don't put all your money into your equipment. You need to save money for marketing. You need to save money for insurance. You need to save money for breakdowns. Breakdowns happen. You can't control it. You can buy a brand new machine, use it once, and it fails. It's a machine. It's not perfect. So, hopefully it's under warranty, but if it's under warranty, usually it's just the parts that are under warranty, not the labor. So there's a lot of things that they need to do. So don't spend all your money on all your equipment, because you're going to have all this equipment and nowhere to use it. So you need to, save money for the marketing and build yourself up, and, just have a cushion, because you're not going to go out. You're unemployed every morning in pressure washing. You're unemployed. You wake up unemployed until you get that job. And until you are in the industry a long time and you are, a week or two out, then you're unemployed. And I had to say, oh, no, I'm self-employed. No, you're not working. You're unemployed. So get up, start hustling, use your marketing money, and just get out there and get those jobs until you get a name. So that's the advice I would give new ones. The seasoned veteran, I would say, tell them to just keep getting education, because everything's changing. With the supply issues we've seen last few years, the manufacturers of some substrates are changing. They're using different formulas because they couldn't get what they used to have. So I had a contractor call me. I was actually at the Huge in Nashville. It was not this past one, the one before. And there's a friend of ours that we trained and mentored, and he's got a business down here. He called with pictures of these copper gutters. He's freaking out. All the copper gutters change colors. And he said, I have the same gutters on my house. And I'm like, they may look the same, but they're not. They probably changed, or it's a different brand. They use something different. So, just the contractors, I learned something all the time. Everything's changing. Nothing stays the same. There's new equipment, new chemicals. There's new gadgets out there that make your life easier. So education, don't say, oh, I've been in business 12 years. I know it. You don't know it. There's some things that can change. So always, for the contractors been in business for a while, have an open mind. Just keep learning, keep educating yourself, because you're doing nobody a favor if you're just stuck back, from 12 years ago.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've seen from being on the vendor side of the equation is, in most of the country, pressure washing is a very seasonal business. There's very few areas where it's not.
Right.
And that's probably the thing that over time kills more people. They get out there, they get the jobs, they get through a season, then things slow down when the weather isn't permitting and they're in trouble. How does coming to an event like this, getting education, help a contractor be prepared for that reality?
We discuss what they can do other than just pressure washing. A lot of guys, they do snow removal. They do Christmas lights. They do hood vent cleaning, which that's inside. I mean, all the restaurants have to have it, even in the winter. Even if you don't have a big snow shovel, you can go to restaurants, just something, anything, just hustle. You can get that job. A lot of guys are now using, getting not surface clean, floor scrubbers to do inside tiles, which need to be done. That kind of thing. Just you've got to prepare them to say it's going to be slow. Like in Florida, where I'm at, because it's a vacation rental, our summers are horrible to pressure wash. I had the slowest summer pressure washing because everybody's down here on vacation. Nobody wants to pay, $800 a week or $1,200 a week for a house and have a guy out there pressure washing. They don't want that. It's busy. So we don't usually do a lot of pressure washing here in the summer, which would probably blow the people up north's mind, like going, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So it's kind of vice versa. So we have to do the same thing here. We either have to look for commercial, which, all the commercial venues are busy also, um, or we have to save up, put 25% or whatever away each month to cover our slow time. And, that's what I'm trying to get, an accountant here to speak, and other people that are from up north that we can network with, just to explain what they're doing. Because I do have a lot of guys here that in spring they bought their equipment, they were gung ho, they were making a lot of money, and then they came in June saying, um, I don't have nothing on my schedule for a month. I'm like,
Yeah.
go knock on the doors. Go in the
Yeah.
non-vacation rental subdivisions and knock on the doors. It's
Yeah.
not going to come to you. You've got to go get it. So
Yeah.
there's ways to make money. I mean, I've even seen people that actually do internal Christmas decoration. They go in and
Oh
decorate the
my.
tree and everything, which I don't know. To me, that's the best part of Christmas, is getting all the decorations out. But some people just don't want to bother with it. But yeah, so so we're just going to, you just have to figure out a niche in the, something you can do in the area that you live in, and find out what's needed that time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you come to an event like this, I mean, it's like, I think you kind of, just to recap that, I mean, there's probably three really strong ways. One, you can get training on other services that
Yep.
are outside of what you're doing
Right.
right now, which may help,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Two, you're going to hear from some professionals who may give you other advice about how to do
Mhm.
your finances and your bookkeeping, and start to have a strategy that plays
Yeah.
ahead. And then the third one is, you're going to get to talk with other contractors who've gone through this too,
Mhm.
likely from the same area that you're
Yeah.
in. And you're going to be able to leave with like, okay, now I have a strategy for how to do my business over a whole 12 months,
Yeah.
not just this week or this month. And that's the big transition you have to make. I mean, I think about, if somebody's coming from a job, and
Mhm.
they're early in like having their own business. Like you said, you wake up unemployed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than just going out and getting work today that you have
Mhm.
to think about if you want to do this for more than just a few months. If you
Right.
want to do it for, multiple years, and you want it to be what you imagine, doing your own business is. And it's like, you can work hard, but there are things that, if that will make it a whole lot easier
Yeah.
than just trying to sweat it out. Like, there's just only so much hard work can do versus working hard but smart, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, and I think that's with any show, like the values in the networking, because you can bypass a lot of
Mhm.
that hard learned lessons. Like
Yeah.
a brand new contractor, they can go figure that out, but it's going to take them a couple like
Right.
hard winters of no work and no revenue to figure it out, and by then they may be out of business. And so coming into an event like this and being able to connect with other contractors, like you said, from the same area, from the same background, and talk about, hey, this is a problem I'm struggling with this year. Are you doing that? Are you struggling there too? And then have someone else say, yeah, we are. Here's the things that we're looking at to get past that issue. There's unlimited like wealth of information out there that other contractors, not just the educators, not just
Mhm.
the circuit trainers have, but just the other contractors. I see them all the time sitting in little pockets of groups and talking about their businesses and how they're going to
Mhm.
grow and their marketing strategies, and or hard lessons they learned. Hey, I did this to this house. I broke this glass table on the back porch. Can you believe that? And then like sharing in some of those hard times also, and offering, I think, not just empathy, but also like solutions, and
Yeah.
how did you deal with your customer when you broke that? What happened? How did you take that customer where you broke their table, and now they're doing twice as much business with you, and they refer you to all their friends? Like
Yeah.
what was that you did to make that happen? And I think that is where there's so much value in just being able to connect and network with other people, other contractors also.
Exactly. And
Absolutely.
then in the slow time also, this is probably going to blow your mind, Brad, but wait a minute. So this is what I've done, while getting ready for the event, because we still have the contractor side, we still have the wash business. So I have been getting thousands and thousands of postcards bagged up for every door direct mail. I've been doing that, my free time the last couple days. So I actually made a video, and for other contractors, I made the video from starting to end of every door direct mail. I showed them on the computer how to, log in, what to do, how to pick your areas, how to print the paperwork. Then I go over and show them how to count, not how to count, but I have 100 postcards because you have to bundle them in hundreds, put them in 100 postcards. And I always told them, get a kitchen scale and weigh them so you're not counting hundreds at a time. Grab a handful, weigh them, and get the same number, and you're good to go. So I've got a video showing them on every door direct mail from start to finish to get those sent out. And they can do stuff like that on their slow time in order to prepare and get business for later dates. So, even if you're not busy, there's always something you do marketing wise to get your name out there. I also had other little not postcards, little flyers that we had made. And I put them in envelopes, and I sent 1,500 flyers out to the real estate agents in my area, and put a little note saying, hey, I wrote it for Shane. It's Shane with Classic Touch Pressure Washing. I'm providing you with $50 off coupons that you can put in your new homeowner welcome packet. So there, I'm just giving all these $50 coupons off to the realtors to give their new homeowners, and maybe they'll throw them out. Maybe they won't. Maybe 1,500 people are going to have a $50 coupon in their new homeowner packet. So it's little things like that you can do when you're slow in your, in your business, just to get business built up. It may take a couple weeks, but it'll pay off in the end.
Absolutely.
So I think I've got one.
You're such a hustler.
I think I've got one more question, maybe a logistics question. So for the contractor listening,
yes,
when they are busy, is that a time for them to turn off marketing or slow things down because they're saying, hey, I shouldn't spend so much money because I'm so busy now, I need to slow things down? Or what is your recommendation there for the busy time when they are busy?
Well, if you're busy, you can, I know a lot of guys use yard signs. So in my area, we can't use yard signs because they're a touristy area and code enforcement doesn't allow it. But some areas do. So they can have, while they're washing the house, leave the yard sign in the yard. They can take it or ask the homeowner, hey, can I leave this here for a week? If they live close, they can come pick it up. Also, when you are doing a job, knock on the doors, both one on each side and the 3 across the street, because you can show them, hey, I just washed your neighbor's house. They've seen how dirty it was. Now they can see how clean it is. Give them your business card and say, here's my business card if you ever need me, need my services. So you're still marketing, but you're not spending a lot of money doing it, but you're still marketing. I know it's going to take a lot of time, but no, we have 3 wrap trucks. That's just drivable billboards. That's always marketing. Branding is very important to have your brand out there. As with Panhandle, with the branding, I've got my Panhandle tape on the boxes. I have, bag toppers. I've got my mints with my name on it. My brand is everywhere. My Stay Humble, Hustle Hard shirts and hats, that's got Panhandle on it. So air fresheners. It's just when people see that, they know who I am. I mean, even dogs and kids. I've got contractors like, my kids are so excited when that package comes because they want to know what's in there. So it's either a Frisbee or, notebook or something. But the same with the contractor business. Get your brand out there. Let people know who you are when they see you. And just, just be pleasant. Don't be, if you're in a wrap truck, don't be going 35 miles an hour in a 15-mile-an-hour zone. There's a lot of golf resorts here. Be professional. On your Facebook pages, be professional also, because if it's not set to private, those homeowners can access that. So you've got some kind of stupid memes or something going on, that reflects who you are as a business owner. So everybody tells me I'm dumb because I go on all these groups on my personal Facebook. I don't have a business. Well, we got Panhandle, but I'm never on that one. But I've got mine that I promote everything through. I've got nothing to hide. I post pictures of my grandbaby. I don't care who sees my grandbaby, and my dogs, love my dogs. So they're always around. But, I'm not going to take a picture of my husband in his boxers and post it everywhere because that's just not professional. And, you just got to keep, even though you have a professional and a personal life, this day and age, they do coincide together. Nobody's actually private anymore. You can find anything else from out about anybody online. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're doing anything. If you're at the bar getting drunk and dancing on a bar or tabletop, somebody's going to have a camera and you're going to be posting. It's you just got to be professional if you're going to want to be in a professional business. So it's got to keep a mindset on that. But yeah, but marketing is always good. Never stop marketing. Never stop selling yourself. Just keep it professional and make sure you're doing it the right way.
That is such good advice, by the way. Like, I hear you share some of these things, and I think sometimes when I talk about marketing to people, I don't stop to mention them because I guess in my mind I'm like, surely everyone is checking off some of these boxes, but then I realize like that's not what I see on social media. I don't see people checking off the boxes of thinking about like what's visible and how they act and how they behave and what image that has. And I think that I'm just glad that you're sharing it. And it reminds me that there's so much value in these little things that I don't think people will consider. Like that's not what marketing is. They have in their mind what they think marketing is, and they forget that it's everything that people see of you.
Yeah.
Right. And half the battle in a world that is busy, where there is lots of social media and lots of distraction, is being visible.
Right.
That's half of it. People just knowing that you exist and you being the person they see most often, so that when they do need something, they think of you. I mean, that part of it is a huge thing. And when you're a local business, you have this massive advantage because your world is accessible, right? You can drive your truck around your world, right? You can go and put business cards or speak to people in the businesses in your world. You don't have to do a national TV advertising campaign for people to see you like a big brand does. No, you can do that same thing in your town.
Yes.
And be just as visible and just as known as any brand is, on a bigger scale. And I think the people that do it do really well with it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other people forget, and they kind of get lost in this, like, well, so-and-so on the internet said I need to do this. And they do that for 5 minutes. And then it's, oh, so-and-so had this other idea, so maybe I'm going to switch over and do this. Oh, and then I heard, this other thing is like new and I need to be on that.
Yeah.
And that kind of lack of focus and missing out on some of the fundamentals is the way that people get so lost and frustrated with their marketing.
It is. And there's a lot of little things in your neighborhood, in your community that you can do. Like, I just donated a free house wash up to $500 for our mayor's ball. It's a silent auction. Now, think about it. If you don't have a baby, you're not going to bid on a baby basket. So the people that are bidding on this pressure washing wants pressure washing done. So you donated $500 worth of pressure washing, but maybe 30 people are bidding on it. 30 people just seen your name and that you gave back to the community. That little bit of marketing, what did it cost you? An hour and a half of your life? And your name just got out there? You think in every community, there's the elementary school, they have their fall festivals that are always looking for silent auction things. It's little things outside the box that are not in the norm that could get you the most exposure. I also have Classic Touch pens made that cost me maybe 29 cents each. Just little cheap Bic pens with Classic Touch. Drop them off at your local eateries for their waitresses to use. You know how many people take those pens home? A lot. People eat, they sign the check, pen in their purse. Now they've got your advertising right there at home. So it's something little like that keeps you in your community, that gives them a sense of you being part of that community and not just trying to sell them something. You're giving back and you're helping out your community, which also helps back, you back out. So, it's little things like that most people don't think of as marketing that can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, that and the reputation that you have in your community goes so far. I think that is just such sage wisdom, to remind people of those things, because it can be really powerful. And like you said, you don't need millions of people
No.
to see something.
No.
You need a
You
few
don't.
of the right
Yeah,
people
you
to
may not
see
want a
it.
million people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's it's worthless. A million eyeballs on you doesn't help your service business in your town. But like you said, 30 of the right people could
Mhm.
lead to 5 or 6 good jobs. And if you're doing a great job, those 5 or 6 jobs
Yeah.
could lead to a few more.
Right.
And like setting those little sparks are the
Mhm.
way that you really build a fire in your business. So I think that is really cool. What I was thinking a lot about the last few days, what I would share in an event like this, because primarily, we do business with larger businesses,
Right.
but I've worked with a lot. I've worked with companies, everything from like a one man pressure washing show to a 30, 40, $50 million company. And what I've found is every company under, I don't want to put a cap on this, but definitely every country under a couple million in revenue, they are in the same marketing chaos
Mhm.
most of the time. The ones that I've worked with, when they hire me, they are confused, they are frustrated, they are overwhelmed. They've heard one too many good ideas, and they're not sure what to do at all.
Right.
And I think what more than anything, what I hope to do is to kind of unwind that so that someone can say, here's what I'm doing with my business. And then here's some steps I can take that aren't overly complicated. So it would be very clear
Mhm.
what I need to do to actually do something that gets me business, to actually do some marketing that helps move my business forward, that actually focuses on some things that matter and kind of puts a little bit of blinders on to all the noise. Every time they log on Facebook, like there's 32,000
Mhm.
people that are telling them they need to do this and that and use
Yep.
this AI service and this SEO thing and this and it's everywhere. It's just noise. And if you
Yeah.
look at one of them, you see another 100.
Yeah.
You get retargeted for another 100, and it's like it becomes paralyzing. And
Yes.
so, what I want to do is talk a little bit about how do you unwind that and give yourself like a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 path that anybody can do, whether they have a zero budget
Mhm.
or they have a $10,000 a month budget or whatever that is, that you can take those steps forward without feeling so like it's just this giant gray, cloud that you can't see through. That's just
Yeah.
very confusing and very frustrating. And you're afraid you're going to waste a bunch of money. And I have such a heart for that with small businesses because
Right.
that's what I've always been around, right? Small
Yeah.
blue collar businesses. And I think more than anything, that's what I want people to walk away with is like just not feeling so confused, not feeling overwhelmed, not feeling like it's some big mystery because it doesn't have to be. It can be common sense.
Right.
It can be things that you already know and probably things that you're like, oh, I didn't even think. I have all these great tools in my pocket
Mhm.
as a person, as a business
Yeah.
owner, and I'm just not taking advantage of them in a way that grows my business because I've heard too many of these ideas by experts who are
Mm.
just trying to sell me something. And that's what I would hope, because I think that it complements like, this whole nature of this event. They're going to learn all these new skills and they're probably going to be thinking, all right, which ones do I do? How do I sell them? How does that fit into my business? And I want to help connect some of those dots for people.
And another thing, Brad, is what I'm getting is a lot of people ask me, what do you do for marketing? Down where I'm at, because I am in a tourist town, is going to be different than somebody in Illinois. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I do every door direct mail because 2/3 of the homeowners down here don't live here. They all have second homes. They do vacation rental home with them. So they all live in Canada, New York, Chicago, wherever. So the postcards go to their house where their mail goes. It doesn't go to their rental property. So we do have subdivisions where people live, obviously. And I do focus them for like paver sealing or whatever. But we have other marketing we do for our local community. But the every door direct mail is because I need to get that mail to the homeowner wherever they live. Now, you know, will it work in Nebraska? Probably not. Every door direct mail probably will not work for them. So being in, marketing is going to be different in each area, same as pricing. I get a guy that asks me, I got this 60,000 square foot building, a Granger building. What would you price it as? I'm like, I'm not in Wisconsin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
buildings that big down here. So, um, They're getting bigger, but I mean, it's just a beach town. So, um, we got the boat docks and we get little touristy restaurants and stuff, but it's just different in each area for the marketing and the pricing, and I think that needs to be addressed also. And I tell people all the time, get with somebody in your area. Oh no, we don't work with each other. They won't tell me their secrets, and I'm like, well, you guys need to change that because you can get more done working together than you can fighting each other. But
Yeah, invite them out to dinner and
yeah,
tell them some of your secrets,
there you
and,
go. Take them
start
out for
building
No
a
dinner. Let's
community.
kidding.
go.
Yeah,
So
No kidding. We have done recently some client interviews for a company that we're working with, and it is so amazing these people that use this software, that use this product, and how the story is like the same. They're like, yeah, I refer all the people that I know in my area that do what I do to this because it's helped my business so much, even though it's a tool that helps them get more business.
yeah,
And they're like, I'm probably creating competition, but I just feel like it's just such a good thing to have. I want people that I know in the business to have it. And when we adopt that attitude, you're happier, and there's more than enough business to go around. And like we talked about in the very beginning, when we elevate each other's businesses,
hmm,
we make the whole industry better. And what we really
yes,
want is a way where people see it as a professional service,
hmm,
and we're not cutthroating each other on a race to the bottom, because that's a way to never make any money and to be miserable and to devalue what you do. And I want what I do to be valued. And I have to
yes,
imagine that everybody that learns something, that puts their time into it and their sweat into it, wants what they do to be valued. And that starts with a collaborative attitude versus like a competitive attitude.
exactly. We bid large jobs. We had the school, and it was us bidding and two more of our local guys. We actually all got together, looked it over, came up with a number. We were all about the same. We all went in there and gave right around the same number, and the other guy got it, which was fine because he was already working there. And but they had to knew that to go every year they've got to get three contracts, whatever, or three bids. But we worked together, so we didn't devalue our service. It's like if you go in there, okay, oh, we're at $20,000 for this whole school and the stadium or whatever, and then another guy comes in, oh, I'll do it for 10, and he's there, forever, and he doesn't do great work because he doesn't have the correct equipment to do the job. That just devalues the service. So, working together with each other, keeping the value up for what we do, as contractors, helps everybody. It's beneficial to everybody. It's, you don't, I mean, there's going to be the $99 guy, which is actually probably not the $99 guy. He's an amazing marketer because I seen him at the Huge with his shirt, and he's probably making more than we are after being in work, 20 years. But, he starts at 99 and then adds up. Yeah, 29 right here for your front of your garage. The rest of it's $500. So it's to get him on their property to upsell, and that is an amazing marketing scheme. And starting at that just leaves the window wide open. So that is an amazing marketing scheme. But just working together and building this industry up, educating each other, lifting each other up, not pushing each other down. You can't climb up if you're stepping on everybody. This just help each other up and build this industry together so we can make it last, make it worthwhile. This stop, damaging properties. This stop undervaluing our service and just keep going and grow. And that's another reason I do the events, just for that, because I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I love it. I love the industry. It just gets me all. So anyway.
Well,
awesome.
the thing is, anybody hearing this, if you're within striking distance of Sandestin in Florida, so the Panhandle area in Florida, come to the event. You really will be glad that you did. I am sure you will walk away with something you're like, that was worth coming to. I'm glad I came. I learned something. I met someone. I either met a friend, having somebody that I can bounce things off of. Maybe meet somebody who can be an educator and a mentor in your life. You'll meet Trudi, if nothing else, and that's worth coming for all on
Yeah,
its own.
get some
So
get some pork.
how do people find it? sign up, register. I know it's free, but you still need to register ahead of time because
Yes.
they are preparing things for you.
Yes.
So kind of give people the quick rundown on what's next. And we'll obviously have links wherever this is posted too.
Yeah, we will. And also, it could be a tax write-off too. So I know it's the end of the year and you're going to need to get those tax dollars spent so you don't give them back to the government. So use it wisely, use it for your education, and come on out and see us. But you can register at nationalcleaningexpo.com, or you can get on my website, Panhandle Power Wash Supply, and click on the banner. It's halfway down the main page. Click on it, it'll redirect you. We need your registration so I know how many people I'm cooking for, and hopefully I'll get some sleep the few nights before, but probably not. And then we need to make the badges also. We do a lot of giveaways at these events. We've got an AR-45 given away, got a hose reels, a couple surface cleaners, we got chemicals, shirts, hats. We always do a lot of giveaways. Hoses are also given away. And so we need to know who you are and where you're from. We don't use that information to call you or spam you. I keep it. I don't do that. I don't have time to do that. I really don't have time to do that. So I don't have time to spam you at all. But it is used for, your business cards are used for drawings, and your registration is used for your name tags and to let me know how many people are coming so nobody goes hungry.
So go to the website.
Yes.
You can go to either one of them, National Cleaning Expo or Panhandle Power Wash Supply, and register for the event. Be there. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, Trudi. It's always
You're
such a pleasure
welcome.
to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap it up there. That's about an hour. I know that's about all anyone can stand of me. Yeah, we'll see you guys around at the next episode. All right. Bye, guys.